The Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, or RACP, is a Commonwealth grant program administered by the Governor's Office of the Budget for the design, acquisition, and construction of a regional, economic, cultural, civic, recreational, or historical improvement project. This video will identify some important details of the grant program, including workflow processes, general timelines, and responsibilities. RACP personnel are available to provide assistance throughout the grant process. Before a RACP award can be granted, the project must be authorized in a Capital Budget Project Itemization Act. This is a legislative process to itemize redevelopment assistance capital projects, and itemizations are set to sunset or expire 10 years after enactment. Organizations should work with their local legislators to include their proposed project and funding allocation in a capital budget project itemization bill. A list of available project itemizations is accessible on the RACP website. Please keep the following in mind when searching the listings. Confirm the itemization project description fits your proposed scope of work. Verify your funding request does not exceed the available itemization amount. Ensure that the itemization's county and municipality fit your project's site location. And a general countywide itemization may be considered if your project does not have a designated specific itemization. If considering the use of a general itemization, you are encouraged to discuss any project plans with local officials to determine if there are any restrictions on the selected itemization. Applications can only be accepted during an open funding round window, which is scheduled at the discretion of the Governor and announced on the RACP website in advance of a round opening. Applicants will use an online e-grant system known as the Electronic Single Application to submit their application. The RACP website includes a video tutorial, detailed instructions, and other program resource materials to assist with the submission. Prior to submitting an application, you should thoroughly review the RACP grant compliance requirements, as adherence will be confirmed before any grant disbursements can be made. After a funding round window is closed, there is a 30-day public comment period prior to the release of any awards. The selection of projects and timing of the awards are at the discretion of the Governor. Funding round results are posted to the RACP website, and successful applicants will receive an email notification through the eGrants system with their award letter. Applicants will have 30 days to access the e-signature link provided in the email to formally accept or deny the award. After acceptance of the award, applicants will have 6 months from the award letter date to complete and submit a Project Management Proposal, or PMP. The PMP outlines the proposed project scope, match funding sources, involved entities, and other key information. A fillable PMP template and detailed instructions are available on the RACP website. All RACP projects must submit the PMP through an eligible grantee and be able to demonstrate that at least 50% of the required non-state funds to complete the project are secured. If the initial applicant does not qualify as an eligible grantee entity, they will need to partner with one to continue through the grant process. Upon the receipt of a PMP submission, the RACP office will assign a state-contracted consulting firm to complete a detailed review of the PMP and will work with the project team to develop an eligible RACP scope. Once the scope concept is determined to meet program guidelines, the consultant will issue their PMP review report, which is used to prepare the grant agreement. Once drafted, the grant agreement will be sent to the grantee for signature. The agreement will then be reviewed by multiple agencies within the Commonwealth administration for validation and execution. This process can take up to 90 days. The RACP grant agreement is valid for 3 years from the time of the execution. All grant agreements include project-specific special conditions located in Appendix B. Special conditions are outstanding documents identified during the drafting of the grant agreement and must be addressed within 6 months of the execution of the grant agreement. RACP is a reimbursement-based grant program. Before any reimbursement of grant funds can occur, the grantee must have a fully executed grant agreement, satisfied the special conditions, and incurred eligible and compliant costs. The grantee must submit project invoices and proof of payment as part of the payment request process. Upon request, RACP staff can conduct a facilitation meeting with the project team to assist with the preparation of the first payment request. The RACP website includes a detailed reimbursement handbook, payment request forms, and a submission checklist to assist with this step of the grant process. All throughout the grant process, the state-assigned consultant conducts routine status meetings, site tours, and grant compliance monitoring. They will prepare and submit various reports to the RACP office and the project representatives. These construction monitoring reports identify the project's grant compliance status at various construction stages and are utilized by the RACP staff to process the project through the grant steps. A small amount of grant retainage will be withheld from the project's final payment request. After successful completion of a legislatively required closeout audit, this retainage will be released as final payment of grant funds. Thank you for taking the time to watch the RACP at a Glance presentation. If you have any questions, please send them to our RACP resource email account.